and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream to this show. That's it. That's all you have to do. I take it from there. So let's dive straight in. I have a dream from Lisa, and Lisa has sent dreams to the show over many years and has even called into the show. So it's great to get another dream from you, Lisa. Two little ones. And you say that these dreams are about your nervous system, maybe birth issues and difficulty connecting to guidance and intuitive gifts due to nervous system issues. And you're just trying to figure out, how do you heal what comes up? Well, let's have a look at the dreams. Like I said, they're very short. The first one is, I'm looking for a place to shower. Two boys, 10 to 12 years old, tease me about showering outside. I feel embarrassed. I go inside a bathroom that is painted all peach, but has no lights. It has functioning electrical outlets, so I plan to go upstairs to fetch a lamp. Okay, so I like the end of your dream. And so here's the easy thing. What blocks you is embarrassment. Because you say you feel embarrassment and it causes you to go inside to a bathroom. And so anytime you see a bathroom in a dream, it's what went on before. That bathroom is there trying to eliminate that. So in your case, it's trying to eliminate the bathroom and the teasing, so don't let that affect you. And you say that the two boys were 10 to 12 years old. So this says that you were teased going through puberty or around that age. And so it's like, okay, that's in the past, obviously. So you might not be thinking that, oh yeah, that all the time, all the way back then is what causes me to hide myself now. So you're asking, how can I bring my intuition to the front, or my channeling ability, whatever it is that you're working on. And this is it. You need to work on those issues. You need to heal that because it was way back at a very influential time in your life. As you're becoming a woman, you undergo situations that cause you to feel embarrassed about who you're becoming, so it's like, okay, that gets baked into the mix of who you then become. And so clearing that is going to help you. And like I say at the start, the obstacles in your path are not in the way, they are the way. So clearing this is one of the reasons that you are here. And because it's two boys, it's also going to be to do with confidence, something to do with male energy. Male energy, like when in balance, is about belief in yourself, feeling confident, feeling worthy of the space you occupy, all that sort of thing. That's male energy. Like if you're going to be giving people readings, you want to be the stronger energy in the two seats, or if you're on a stage, you want to be able to feel like you're entitled to be up there, that you have that is your space. This is my skill. I am sharing this with you. Yes, it'll use more than one energy, but the male energy allows you stand there and say, this is me, this is who I am. And I don't care whether you accept me or not for who I am. This is who I am, and I already own this stage. I kind of made it lighter there than it really is. It's not as simple as that, but that's what you're saying. What do you need to do? You need to overcome that. And what I really like is you said the bathroom has two functioning electrical outlets. So electrical outlets are about your healing ability. So you have a hands-on healing ability, and in the dream, you're going to heal yourself. That's the intention of them in the dream. So definitely it's encouraging you to use your hands-on healing ability. And then you say you're going to go upstairs and fetch a lamp. And so the lamp is a connection with your higher self, or your intuition, which is the method for connection with your higher self. And that's your intention. So that's really good. So heal yourself, heal these things that have gone on in the past, and that will give you the ability to make that connection. Let's have a look at your second really short dream. I love short dreams. They're just, some really long dreams are great because they're such an adventure, but short dreams are so punchy. They're right to the point of like, this is what's going on. And so here in this dream, you call it Wi-Fi hookup too hard. And you say, my astrology and tarot mentor, Connie, is trying to plug into Wi-Fi by plugging a device into an outlet in a light fixture on the ceiling. So again, plugging something in so you have the hands-on hearing ability because electricity is involved. Now you also, because wiring is there, this is why you say it's the nervous system. And it is the nervous system also in your case. You do have both. The last bit of the dream, she's holding a plug-in with orange, white, and green threads, and I'm trying to wrap them so I can plug them in. Oh, sorry, you call that one... no, the titles are mixed up. So, yeah, that's Wi-Fi hook up too hard. So what have we got there? So the white and green is about getting into your heart. Green is the color of the heart chakra, and when you see white with it, it's about really lifting your heart up. And then orange is about ambition and drive, and it's saying, look, you've got the ambition, you've got the drive, you're going to do this. So realize you're going to do this. You're going to achieve it. Yeah, orange is a color of achievement. So you're going to achieve this, which is why it's also a color that's connected with career, by the way. So realize that you've got that. But the way to it is to get into your heart. But how do you do that? Well, that's the $6 million question, isn't it? Incidentally, that's what I do in my signature course. I help people get into their heart. I help them heal whatever it is they need to heal. And right now I'm training people to do what I do, and it's such an enjoyable course. We're a little over a month into it, the new course, and it's just fantastic. It's a 10-month long course. And next year, some of these people will run a variant of my signature course under the Ashling umbrella. And so it's super, super exciting for me. But anyway, back to your dream and an open heart. Think about, let's give something really strong, because it's easy to make points that way. Think about a person who's dying, someone who knows for some time. I remember watching my brother-in-law, Tom. He was amazing. He had leukemia and he knew he was on the way out, but he accepted it. He was at peace with it. And that, you have to let that sink in. Others around him were not. And it was strange to see that. It seemed so backwards. The person dying is comforting others who were in denial. But he had moved into his heart. And the key tell for that was his acceptance. An open heart accepts. It doesn't worry. Worry is in your head, in fact. It's male energy. So that's what this dream is saying to you. To move into your heart and just accept yourself as you are. You know, you see a lot of people, they would say, okay, this is my gift. I'm meant to be a channel and I'm struggling to get there. And really, this dream is kind of saying, just accept that you are. You do have this channeling ability. And that's what the Wi-Fi is about. Wi-Fi is about channeling. It's about connection to everybody and guides, you know. So you have this special connection ability. And you definitely have a strong intuitive ability, which you're also trying to hook up in the dream. But a lot of the time we can see ourselves trying to hook it up. But really you have to accept that you already have it and accept yourself. And this goes back to then the boys teasing you during puberty is like, you now need to get to the point where you say, this is who I am. And I accept me as I am. And it doesn't matter to me if you don't accept me. And now that's going to be hard for you. But that's the point. Get to the point where you accept yourself, and then it doesn't matter what other people think. So when you don't accept yourself, it really does matter what other people think, because if they don't, their acceptance of you fills in the void that's there, the gap in your heart, let's say, that's there. But if you fill it in yourself, then it doesn't matter what other people think, because you're happy. You accept yourself as you are, and you're saying, this is who I am. And I'm going to give you a reading. Instead of, I want to give you a reading and I really want you to like this reading and I want you to like me. And that's because there's pain that you're trying to recover from. Work on the pain, get to the point where you accept yourself, and you will just be able to do it. You'll just be able to give the readings because it is part of who you are. And so here's and it was great. Thanks for sending in the dream, Lisa. Lovely to get another one from you. And then I was very surprised to see a dream from Holly. Again, thank you for sending a dream into the show. Why was I surprised? Well, because Holly could just phone me and say, here's a dream, Michael. What's this dream mean? Holly and I are quite close, but here's her dream. So we're going to make it a public thing. And she says, hi, Michael, can you please comment on how we can tell in a dream if we have entities attached to us? This week I had this dream. I felt depressed and out of sorts. I'm wondering if the invisible spirit I saw in the dream has something to do with it. The same week, a channel, Heidi, confirmed she saw 3 entities attached to me. I've had other dreams with invisible spirits that make mischief around me. In one, for example, I was cooking a pot of soup and the invisible spirit would lift the bag of peas off the counter and wiggle it so it looked like it was floating, just to annoy me. Okay, so here's the dream. Early morning, my husband Ricardo and I were in the basement garage of our condo complex. We were riding our bikes in circles around the parked cars, having fun and laughing. Then I realized we'd left furniture scattered all around the garage. I was concerned about us putting it away quickly before anyone saw it and complained. Well, based on what comes up next in your dream, an entity is causing you to think of things that you don't want others to know. I was going to jokingly say, like when you used to kick puppies and punch kittens, but that is not true. Anyway, it's also getting you to feel like you're going nowhere. And this is what entities do. And that's given by the 2 symbols in the dream. Riding around in circles, because that's about like I'm going places, but I'm really going nowhere because I'm coming back to where I started. And then also the parked cars, because cars in a dream represent your ability to achieve your goals, to go somewhere, move yourself from where you are to where you need to be. But these cars are parked, so they're not going anywhere. And because Ricardo's in the dream with you, it's about your relationship. But you're just meant to be having fun in your relationship. And that is actually you going somewhere. Because for so long, you had resigned yourself to the idea that having fun in a relationship was impossible. And that is likely what the entity wants to stop. Why? Because entities want you depressed. They want you down. They can't attach to you if you're happy, if your energy is high. If you raise your vibration, it's impossible for them to connect to you. And so they do the things, they put things into your head, if they can, if you're a channel in your case, to bring you down, because that's the level they need you at. And this got me talking about something that I wanted to talk about for some time on the show. Not that it's got me, it's going to get me talking about something that I want to talk about. The world is changing, and not just in a small way. Big things are coming. Many channels are predicting America's dominance in the world will start to topple this year. And with the work I do, I know lots of channels, and I hear very similar messages surfacing from different corners all over the globe. And that's always interesting. But I don't think it takes a channel to see the precarious position America is in now. United we stand, divided we fall. And we in America have never been so divided. And the division is not just sown within the country. America has offended so many other countries that have been allies for so long, making so many things about money when really it was never about the money. For instance, threatening to withdraw from NATO because other member states are not paying their fair share. In case you're wondering, NATO is the military alliance between the United States, Europe and Canada that has deterred the Soviet Union aggression for 70 years. What else is America doing that's of epic proportions? How about withdrawing from the Paris Agreement? How about scuppering the Iran nuclear agreement and then threatening sanctions on Western allies who wanted to salvage that agreement after America withdrew? Whether done intentionally or out of ignorance, the administration is sowing division. Officials have looted trillions to give to corporations, Wall Street and banks. During a pandemic with 40 million people unemployed and without insurance, the stock market is soaring because we have to save the rich, save the very rich, more division. And we see the result in protests all over America. The same officials that looted trillions to save their donors point to looting and burning of stores. It could never be in the same league. Nearly 16 trillion is going to Wall Street. You can't even imagine that amount of money. And that's your tax money. The Sheriff of Nottingham would have been proud. There are calls to remove 3.5 billion from WIC, the system that makes sure impoverished women and children are nourished. Why should they be refused help, but banks on Wall Street be given so much? For perspective, the Pentagon spends 3.5 billion in just 41 hours. You know, it's crazy. And I don't think it takes a channel to predict where America is heading because it is self-inflicted. What makes it scary is that all great empires of the past have fallen. All of them. Not one is left. So history should tell us to watch out here. The fact that this is happening in the year we move into the female energy age is not just coincidence in my mind. Now, how does this relate to Holly's dream? And I know it's a bit of a stretch, but places of darkness are being purged from the earth plane, and negative entities are getting trapped in this purge. We are all moving up in vibration and away from them. Well, when I say all, we're all given the choice to move up in vibration. And the people that do are going to do okay, and the people that don't will not do okay. But the entities are desperate. They don't like the light. They don't like love. They run from those things. But their portals back to the dark are being sealed off. And really, it's just part of, this whole thing is happening completely on an energetic level, and we are seeing it in the world around us too. And you're also seeing it in the fact that entities are attaching themselves to you. Because under normal circumstances, Holly is actually able to deal with entities and purge them from other people. So very unusual to see her having any dreams about them. But let's continue on with the dream. You say, a female co-worker told me she was concerned about one of our co-workers being suicidal because someone had found her with a noose in her pocket. It seemed strange this girl would walk around with a noose in her pocket. Was it for show? I wondered how a noose would even fit in there. And this is something that entities also put in your mind. Like that nothing can be saved. There's no point. You might as well kill yourself. And it's, it's just as long as they can keep you down, then they've got you. When you're down, they can kick you. If you're not down, they can't kick you. They absolutely cannot connect to you when you have a high vibration. You continue on, you say, I went up to my balcony and was doing ab exercises on the floor. I noticed an invisible cloud-shaped spirit above me as I laid on my back. I started kicking and punching it with all my might. I was furious at it because I realized it had caused the girl to put the noose in her pocket so she might attempt suicide. And that's exactly it. So when you see the invisible cloud-shaped spirit, and I presume it was dark and negative, that's also symbolic of depression in a dream. And you said in the comments that you've been feeling depressed. And so here's one of the things that's kind of funny. While dealing with negative entities is not a normal thing, most channels never have to deal with it. It's something I've come across a lot. Unfortunately, I have experience with this. Sometimes, it's from working with people whose dreams show it, and then I have to pass them on to somebody who helps clear that and so on. So like I say, it's not too common, but it is still real. And the thing about it is they pull you down so fast, you can usually tell. So it's like you're happy one day and the following day you're like depressed or even suicidal. And it just doesn't fit with your normal demeanor at all. And when you're aware, hey, I need to get a clearing, and you can get that done. And it instantly fixes the problem. It's not like, okay, now give yourself 3 days rest and you'll be fine. It's like within that 10 seconds of that healing, you're done and your light mood is restored, because it was never your mood. It's been injected into you to make you feel that way, to bring you down. Anyway, you continue on with your dream. You say, in the distance, I saw a large metallic blue glass skyscraper swaying hard in the breeze. I stood up to take a closer look. It swung left to right 3 times. Now you saw this in the distance. So this is something that's coming, not something that's happened, because anything in front of you is the future, and something in the distance in front of you is a little bit in the future. On the 3rd time, it swung so far that it actually toppled over. I was horrified. People were running to the building to help, but I couldn't because I was on the balcony. I started to run to the basement to tell Ricardo. So what's going to topple? We're going to see it in the next part, and then you will see why I talked about the stuff that I already talked about, and that it isn't even really a stretch to connect it into this dream. You say, I heard someone refer to the building as Mar-a-Lago, and I realized it was Donald Trump's building. What was interesting was that the building didn't collapse or disintegrate. Rather, it just fell on its side fully intact, even though it was hundreds of stories tall. It was almost like anyone who'd been inside could safely hop out uninjured. It also seemed that with the right equipment, the building could be lifted back into place without any lasting damage. So right now, according to this dream, according to your dream, according to what an awful lot of channels are telling me And you can find these all over the web. And I've never been into this, like the end is nigh and people standing on street corners with placards and so on. But like even in my book, my first book I wrote in 2007, I talk about a guy called Pearson Walker Beavis, such an unusual name. And he told me way back in 92 that America would be fragmented into three. Now, in his vision, he saw the San Andreas Fault being hit, but it didn't just change the west coast of America. It went inland as well and all the way to New York. And he told me as well that the New York skyline would be different in the future. And sure enough, I mean, September 11th did change the New York skyline, which is funny though. I didn't even think of him at the time when that happened. But so is it about like, yeah, the skyline changed because buildings fell, but is your dream actually about buildings falling? I would say it's not. I would say your dream and other people's visions about calamity hitting America are about the structures falling. Because like even in this dream, the structure's intact, the building is intact, it just falls on its side. It's been toppled. And you would say that about regimes. Regimes are toppled. So to me, this fits in with all the predictions that are saying that changes are coming. And America, I don't think it's like actually going to be fractured into different divisions. It's going to choose to put different systems in place. And so ultimately America will be fine, or people will be fine. But will everybody be fine? I don't know. But the structures that are currently used to run America are not meant to survive the move into the Aquarian age. And that started on, like in January this year. And so I just find it interesting. Will it happen? We will see. I mean, we're already halfway through this year and it's been one heck of a year. But I do think, like when you look at the amount of money that has just been spent in my mind in all the wrong places, like not spent on helping people with health, spent on helping people keep their homes or keep their jobs or anything like that, all spent on the stock market. I mean, many people have money in the stock market. And okay, if you have a few dollars in the stock market, do you make your livelihood from speculation on the stock market? Most people will say no. It is just, I have a few stocks and I still need a job. I still need my pension. I still need all the other things. There are only a few people in this country that really depend on the stock market for their obscene wealth. And it's not that wealth is obscene, but their levels of wealth is because the stock market is meant to be about speculation. But when it's propped up with taxpayers' money, then there's no speculation in that. There's no risk for them in that. But you have a risk. You take a risk going to your job because it's not secured. It's a crazy system. And that's what's going to change. They're the things that are going to change because people aren't happy with it anymore. Not that they were necessarily very happy with it before. So it's all interesting to me. You were asking about the entities, and the point is you should already have them cleared at this stage. But the fact that all the energy is changing means that entities are trying harder than ever to find things that they can do to get energy. Because if you consider our own energy to be their food source, when they attach to us, that's what we really are for them. When we move up, they can't be around us. What are they going to do? Ultimately, they'll all come back to the light. That's the point of it. But in the meantime, what are they going to do? So let's have a look at one more dream, squeeze one in. And there's one part of this dream that I really like because, you'll see it when I get to it. Oh, I have to find the dream now. This one's from Mary. She says, I'm in a super cool bar or lounge. There are people everywhere relaxing. It's where super cool people hang out. And I feel a little out of my league, but excited to be there. It's like a lounge, but it's outdoors, so it looks like a hiking trail that is a lounge. I'm with an Asian woman and another male friend, and she asked me if I've ever won an OWL award. I think it's a writing award. She's going to lead me to a special seating area only available to people who have won this award. I'm sticking with my guide. And I love this. She keeps going on about I'm sticking with my guide. You'll see this now. So the first part is about you being in an outward-facing spiritual community. because there's lots of talk about guides and so on, and gifts, like the riding gift. And the hiking trail, it's part of your path. You've worked to get to where you are by raising your vibration, because a hiking trail lets you increase your elevation. I mean, typically you increase your elevation on a hiking trail. And you're to write your wisdom, because an owl represents wisdom. But anyway, I love how you stick with your guide, and I love that there's huge emphasis on this. Let's read on. And he lets us pass. Okay, I've skipped a bit because you said that twice. I'm sticking with my guide. There's a bouncer checking people at a set of stone steps, and she passes by. And then the man and I pass as well. I just say, I am with her. I'm sticking with my guide. And he lets us pass. We go down an escalator and I get separated from them for a moment. I take a wrong turn and go for a small extra tour, but then I see where they are and I head back towards them. Now it looks more like a department store, and there are shoppers and tables in the way, so I weave my way towards them. There are clothes racks for shopping on the left. She comes forward to meet me and shows me the tables. They look like tables in a children's classroom. 3 or 4 of them pushed together to make a larger surface. There are a few groups of these tables. The first ones have activities to keep children busy while people shop, but she points to the last one and says, it is for gambling, and she's excited. Okay, so like I said, I love the emphasis on sticking with your guide. That's what you're meant to do. Stay with your guide, regardless of any obstacles or wrong turns you feel you may make. When your energy dips, and I think it'll dip, and I think it'll be when your stepfather passes. And I get that because you say a man passes, and he passes right where there are stone steps. So that's why I say stepfather. So after that happens, reestablish the connection and align again. Your guides can bring you past your current boundaries, and that's what the bouncer is about, and that's what guides do. They help you get past your boundaries. But you don't like to take risks, which is what the gambling is about, and you need to get past that. Overcome your childhood conditioning that has caused you to be afraid to take risks. Now, I know I raced through that because I was looking at the clock. That's it. That's my show for this week. But you can get more of me on KKNW. If you listen to Sakura Sudar's show on Wednesday at 2 p.m, Love from the Hip, I will be guest on that, and you can call in with your dreams. We'll be live in studio 2 p.m. Wednesday Pacific time. Of course, you can listen online and call in too. I'm really looking forward to that. Until next week, or until Wednesday, depending on whichever show you listen to, I'll see you then.